Hello, good morning all. My name is Manuel. Today we are going to learn a couple more stuffs or tips in Illustrator, and this is in possession of or in preparation of our upcoming design lab challenge that will be holding on a couple of weeks or days after now. Okay, so the first in our list is how to convert a text to a shape. Mind you, this tutorial is for basics, for beginners. Also professionals can tap into it at once. So we are going to convert a text into a shape, a simple text into a shape, which is a problem for most beginners. And we're going to choose a font called Poppins, which is my most favorite. We're going to use the most boldest of them all, and hold your shift key while you are dragging this. Okay, when you put your arrow over here, you're going to see this pops out. Hold your shift key if you are on Windows. Okay, hold your shift key and you can drag in and out for you to see the increase of sizes. You could also do this by selecting and going to type your size specifically from the top angle here. Okay, so that is it. So now we have our shape to a particular size we want. This is not what we want to achieve for today. What we want to do is to make sure we'll be able to work on this text independently without affecting the others. But because for now, if we want to increase a particular text, it is possible to do, but we have a problem with that. So in case you think you could do this, we could increase this size. You see, we can't separate it logically from these other ones. It's still part of these other ones. So what if we want to move this text a little, give it a little bit padding top or padding bottom to move it up or down? We can't do that. So what do? We have to push this down to its original state. Then we go again. We go again, and that's cool. We go again. So now what we're going to do here is simple. Okay, to convert this to a shape means we want it to be like something of this nature. Let me draw an L here. I draw this, and I draw something out from this angle, and I have the two of them joined together to form this L. Okay, it's not joined yet because we can separate this from this other one. So to join it together, select on it, move over to this angle. You find the align tool or pathfinder over here. If you can't find it, go to window. Let me zoom closely so you can see what I'm talking about. Okay, so sorry about that. Control Alternative Z, very good. So go to Windows. I will zoom closely so you see. Go to Windows and you can find the pathfinder all along here. Let's see, the alignment tool is here, and we will find the pathfinder somewhere along here. So this is the pathfinder. So when you click on the pathfinder, it brings out this tool, and this is the same thing we have over there. Okay, when we select everything, the pathfinder automatically populates. So now what we do is click on the pathfinder to join everything together. You can click option on the pathfinder and see other forms of it. Okay, or if you want to see this in a full scale, click on the pathfinder which you just imported from the window. Click on the pathfinder and you can now select the particular one you want to work on. So we are going to use this called the unite to unite both this text and this other one. So this now is a text L, but the trick is that this is not actually a text because you can't type something else outside it. Okay, but this we can now add Y here if we want. Okay, but we can't do that here because this is a shape. We can now add a justifiable color, we can add a gradient or whatever we want to do with this. We can also use this tool, which is the curvature tool, to move around this text to manipulate it the way we want. Okay, furthermore, we can use the curvature tool to curve any angle of the text to form whatever shape we want to form. Okay, so that is what the purpose of this first tutorial is, which is us converting a text to a shape. So we are going to do that here so we can manipulate this text. X, if we click on this, we can't select any part of this. If we try to resize it, it's going to resize all of it at the same time. Okay, so what we want to do is to click on, I'm going to zoom closely so you can see clearly, very closely. So we're going to click to make this happen. Let me zoom a little bit far. To make this happen, to convert it to a shape, we're going to click on objects. Then we go to expand. Let me zoom closely. We hold A, click on expand. Okay, now when you click on expand on a text, Ctrl Z, When you click on expand on a text, okay, you find these options to expand the object and the fill. Enabled, make sure the two of them are enabled. Okay, let me close this down. Okay, let's deal with this first. So make sure these two are enabled, then click on OK. You have expanded it. You see, we now have a text which we can manipulate, but they can't be manipulated separately, because if we click to select this to move it around, all are going to be moved around the same way. Why is this so? Because all of it are grouped. So to ungroup them, before we continue, select all, then go to the left panel. You will see ungroup. Under quick action, you can still find that in Windows. Click on ungroup. Now they are all ungrouped. So we can now select this and separate it, select this and separate it, and so on and so forth. Okay, if you make a mistake, click on Ctrl Z to go back. So we can now select on this direct selection tool to pick a particular element, and now we can stretch it by holding the top side. Okay, so this is simply how I do manipulate most of my text. Can select the bottom angle and stretch it to manipulate it, and this is how you can just walk around or manipulate some aspects of your design. So we want some parts of this design like this wide middle to be curved. Click on this point. Let's zoom closely. Click on this point over here. Just click on it once and drag it up. Now it's manipulated. So that's how to convert a text to a shape. You can now see that we can point at any angle of this text, and we can expand it to whatever shape we want. You can mess it up and so on and so forth, which is not the intention for this. So we're going to delete this and head over to the next tutorial. Don't mind, I'll come back to this tutorial and throw more light on text manipulation. I have a specific one for that. So we are going to convert an image to a vector. So let's head over, which is the second one, converting an image to a vector. Let's head over to the Google. So we choose for search for random icons. Make sure whenever you're downloading an icon, look at the edges here. Let me zoom closely. Look at the edges here. They are not very clean. Okay, make sure any image you are downloading is clean before you proceed to start using. So let's select the second one and see. You see, the edges from here is very clean. So we need this, and this works fine. So click option and we click on save, and we click on save. We're going to take another instance also, the second one, which is colored version. We click on save. We're going to use two, black and white and colored. So I'm going to show you how we can manipulate that and convert things. So let me show you something. Let's get back and pick my color palettes. I have a color palette where I assemble colors. So let's pick a color palette. Let's pick this sets. Very good. So we have this set, a color palette. If you want to learn how I prepare this, I will also drop a tutorial about that. Let me know in the comment section if you like to know. So what we're going to do now is to import those images which we just installed or downloaded. So we select on one and we import, and we select on the second one and we import. Don't mind, we're going to select the both of them and we're going to resize accordingly or respectively. So now we have this image over here and we have this other image over here. So we're going to convert this image. But before we get into that, we're going to select this and use the color picker tool, which is over here. This is what we use. Let me draw an instance. For instance, I draw something like this, and I want to fill this with a color from this color palette I created over here. What I do is this. Let me zoom closely so you see. What I do is this. Click on the color picker tool. Once this is selected first, before clicking on the color picker tool, then select on any color you want. Automatically they will apply to that. Okay, so now for this instance, I want to show you why this won't work on this image we downloaded, even though they are icons. Okay, so we select the color picker tool again, and we click on this. Nothing happens. You know why? Because this is not converted to a vector shape already. So to do that, what we're going to do the same step we did in the first one. Let me zoom closely. We go to object and we go to expand. We can't find expand here. Why? Because expand can't function on images. Okay, what can function perfectly on images is image trace, because it's a specific tool for that. So to find the image trace, let's get back to our Windows. Since we don't have it over here, let's go and search for it over here. So we click on Alt. Let me zoom closely so you see. We click on Windows and we search for image trace. Here it is. Okay, let me zoom out again since we found it. Let's click on it, then zoom out. Image trace over here. So we zoom out. Okay, fine. So let's drag it into our control panel. So we have the image trace. This is how the icon look like. Let me zoom closely so you see. This is the image trace over here. So if you have it already, no need to go into the Windows and doing stuffs again. So with the image trace, we can select this particular element and click on the image trace. If you don't see if you are unable to click on an option, what you need to do, if you find it difficult clicking on the option even though you have selected the image, what you need to do is to hold the shift key and drag this either up or down, scale it up or down, then you see it will appear and the options will be ready for you to trace from here. So very simple. I'm not going into in-depth analysis or tutorial on image trace. I'm going to have a separate tutorial on image trace, just the same way I'm going to do for converting text to shapes. So but for the basic, this is for beginners tutorial. Okay, for the basic, this is what you're gonna do. Click on the default, click on 3 colors. You can use 6 colors if there are more than 6 colors here. We have only just 1 color here, so select on what 3 colors. Very simple. Allow it what initiate the pixel clustering. Sometimes if your memory is too low, it will go blank and come back again. So this is not the end. As you're done selecting this, what you need to do is go to this next panel, click on properties. If you can't find properties, click here and find the property tool over here. Click on it and click on expand. While still on the image trace, click on expand. Now it's expanded the image, but it is grouped. Okay, why you know is this: when you select on this and drag it around, everything is dragged all together. Okay, but we can now change the color of our elements. Now that's not the intention of this. Let's get back to work. So now we select on this. What we're going to do is to ungroup everything so we can group the ones we want and delete the ones we don't want, because deleting these stuffs separately, like this vector and stuffs, to delete them separately is not very easy. Okay, so select everything. You do it in 2 steps. Select everything, click on ungroup over here. Okay, click on ungroup after you have clicked on expand. Okay, click on ungroup. Everything is now ungrouped. Okay, now everything is ungrouped. We can now click outside, click in again, and select this and remove. We can now select the ones we want by holding the shift key, select the ones we want, push them somewhere else, and now select all the ones we don't want and delete them. So now we have gotten this, and to group them back again, what you need to do is to click on Ctrl G and everything is grouped. But sorry, we grouped it with the image that is below. We don't want that. Okay, so we select only this and we group it again, Ctrl G. So we hold the Control key and click on G. Everything is grouped together again. Sorry about that. I use direct selection tool. If you use direct selection tool, even ungrouped elements, you can select separately. Okay, but use the direct selection tool. Use direct selection tool. You can directly select particular elements and separate them separately. But you go back to click on the selection tool. Now these things you are selected, drag them around. All of them will go around accordingly. So we don't want to use that. Since we have grouped it, we can use the selection tool and drag it around. So now we can select with the direct selection tool a particular one and give it a color. Select the next one with the direct selection tool and give it another color, and select the last one with this tool and give it another color. Sorry, we selected everything. With the direct selection tool, select and give it another color. Fine. So this is how you create your very simple to convert images to vector. We are going to do that once again from here. Select on the image trace. So you see what we have here. We can select this. So what we are going to do is to hold the shift key and scale down or scale up a little bit. Then we have it here, just like as I told you guys. So click on the default. Now we click on 3 colors because we have the pink, purple, and the yellow. Click on 3 colors. If it's more than 3 colors, you can select the 6 colors. Okay. So click on the 3 color. Allow it to populate again. So this is taking too long. I take time to explain my tutorials. I'm very sorry about that, guys. I'm trying to be fast as possible. So we see we have 3 colors selected and we lost one of the color. What we're going to do, we are going to select 6 colors this time around. So we select 6 colors and watch it cluster once again. So fine, you see we have the color. So if you miss a color, select the higher hierarchy. I'm going to teach you guys how to customize your trace results, your colors, and other limited assets you can do here. So for now, this is basic. Once you are done with that, you can click on expand, as I already told you guys. Expand. Then the next thing we are going to do is towards ungroup. But this time around, we are not going to ungroup. We are going to select the elements outside, then delete. So instead of ungrouping this time around, what we're going to do is to use the direct selection tool, click outside, select the direct selection tool from over here. Okay, direct selection tool. Then we go back here and we select and hold the shift, select and select. Fine. Now we drag out with the direct selection tool. Next thing we're going to do is to select all these other ones we don't want, since we have separated this, and we delete. Fine. So we select everything from here and click on Ctrl G, which is grouping them all. So Ctrl G, we can now start customizing our vector shape. So that's number 2 step on how to convert images to vector shapes. So use quality images and follow the steps, everything work fine. So we delete this, go to the number 3, our tip for today, converting a stroke to a shape. So for instance, we have a stroke of circle, a circular stroke like so. This is not a stroke yet. When it becomes a stroke is when we convert this color to become the back point. Here is now a stroke. Now it's a fill, now it's a stroke. Okay, I'm sorry you're not seeing what's happening in the background. So let's see now. Now it's a fill, now it's a stroke. Now it's a fill, now it's a stroke. So what we want is a stroke. Now to expand the stroke size, you go to the layer. If you can't find the stroke here, you are going to see something like this over here. So this is the stroke. So if you're not going to see this, you can go to Windows and find the stroke element from here. This is the stroke element. So we have it here. So you click on the stroke and you start increasing it. Okay, this is how to increase the stroke. But one problem we are going to face here, or we are facing here already, is that this is not a vector shape. It's not a complete vector shape because we can't manipulate this to some extent. If we want to change the gradient color, we are going to do that from the back here. We can't change the gradient color from here. So for instance, we select the gradient color. It's going to fill from the inside, not the outside color we want it to fill. So to fill it from the outside, we have to revert this and make it fill from the inside, which is not just what we want to. So let's delete this color. To delete a color, click on this. We don't want this color anymore. You click on this particular element from here, it will remove the color. If you still don't want this color, you click on this element, everything disappears. You just have the stroke. Okay, fine. So we have this, and let's zoom out. Very fine. So we go back to our stroke size. Very good. So to convert this to a vector shape, let me show you what that means. We are going to duplicate this. To duplicate an element, hold the Alt key, Alt key, hold it first, then hover over what you want to duplicate, then drag outside. This is how to duplicate an element. So now we want to convert this to a vector shape to make sure it look like this, because for this, if we want to use the curvature to manipulate it, look at what happens. You see, we can only manipulate the vector shape. We don't affect the element we want it to affect. You see, it's only manipulating the shape, which is the stroke we have here. Now, we are going to use this second one as an instance. So select on it, go to object, just as I have told you guys, go to object, go to expand, click on expand, and click on expand again. So let me zoom out. Click on expand for the first time, go again, click on expand for the second time. So you find this expand tool. If it doesn't work first time, click the second time. Find the expand tool, fill and stroke. Unlike the first one we have in the text, object and fill. So fill and stroke for the stroke element, click on OK. So we have it. So now we can use the curvature tool to now select particular edges and what expand. You see the difference between this expand and this other expand. You can use it to create awesome designs, awesome logos and stuff like that. So let's create a smiley, just a smiley with this. So we create the smiling face and we drop in eyes. We're gonna make this white color. Okay, we expand it a little. Sorry about that. Expand it a little. Sorry, I'm moving away from what I'm supposed to be doing now. So we just created a smiley. So we can now select this and fill it with a yellow icon, which is default for smileys, and we have our smiley shape here. So that is it on how to convert a stroke to a shape. Now the next one on our list is sending an object front or back. So let's go back and use this tool as we have it here. We're going to delete this, or we're going to still use this. Let's make this a fill color. We're going to still use this, and look at what we're going to do. We're going to place this. You see, when we place this, it becomes above this element. Now, if we have this kind of element, let's just make it break a little more. We have this element, but the eye is above it. Why? Because we created this first, the yellow first, then we extracted this from it, which means this becomes the second element. It becomes above it from the rules in layer priorities. Okay, from the rules in layer priority, let me zoom closely here. Layer priority says that this becomes the first, and this becomes the second, and the eyes becomes the third. And they become the first to be in the line, and followed by this, followed by the yellow. Why? Because we created this first, this second, and this last. Okay, so that's the rule that applies here if you don't understand what's going on. Sorry about that. 2, let's use direct selection 2 to select this time. So now what we want to do is to move this purple to the back and allow these other ones to be in the front. What we do, you click on it, click option, click on arrange, then go over to arrange and click on send to back. Automatically it goes to the back, as you can see what's going on there. Okay, now we don't want that. We want it to come above everything, even the eyes. What do? We click on option on the element and click on we click on select the option, select the element first. Do not just do like this. Don't do like this. What you do, select the element first and click option, then click on arrange, then bring to the front. That is it. Now click option again, we click on arrange again, then we say arrange again, we say go to the back. Look at what happened. It goes to the back of everything. And we come again and we say bring to the front. It goes to the front of everything. But what if we want these eyes to be above it again? Since moving it to the back, it goes to the back, and moving it to the front, it goes to the front. So what do we do here? What we do is what? Move it one step behind the element. What do we do? How do we achieve that? Click option and click on arrange. Instead of moving to the back, we are going to say what? Send backward. Backward gives it one step to the back. I hope you guys grab that now. Okay, so this still being at the back of it, this second eye is because the second eye was created after it. So click option again and we do what? Send to what? Backward. It goes to the back. That particular eyes is what we are sending to the back. Remember, select this and click what? Arrange. Go backward. It goes to the back of that particular eyes. So move it back to everything. We click option and select what? Move to the back. It goes to the back of everything. So that's how to do what? Arrange your elements, even though you don't want to do it from here. You can also do that from here, from this angle. Let's try that out. So we want to move this vector shape, both the yellow from here. Just drag it and put it above this yellow. Drag and drop, and we have it over here. So that's the second step on how to do that. So that is that for that. So let's do something else. Finally, we are going to drag these elements in, which is our final tutorial for today. We are going to convert it just as we did before. Convert, we go to expand. We're not going to use expand, remember, we're going to use the image trace tool. I'm sorry about that. So we're going to use the three colors. Okay, we allow it populate, select on three colors, and we allow it populate. So fine, so good, we are here. So next we go to our properties and we click on expand. As we expanded, we can now select on the direct selection tool, or we click on group to select it out. So to select on direct selection tool, click outside, select on the elements, and we drag it out. Select on these other ones we don't want and we delete it. Select on this one again and we click on Ctrl G to group everything. Now we group everything, select on direct selection tool to move everything around. So now what we want to do is to reflect these arrows to be pointing to the back. How do we do that? Click on option, click on, let me zoom closely this time around. Sorry about that. Click on option, okay, click on arrange. Not arrange, we click on transform, sorry. Click on transform, then we click on reflect. Okay, click on reflect, brings up this option for you. You want to reflect it vertically, not horizontally. Click on horizontal, it's going to flip this up and down, which we are not going to see any action happening because it is still going to be pointing at the east. Okay, so we are going to do what? Leave it at vertical because we want to move it to the left. So click on OK. You can preview what it looks like here if you want to preview, but if you don't have that time to preview what it looks, okay, let's still preview and see what it's going to look like. Okay, when we click on horizontal, you see what's going to happen. We click on horizontal, we angle it by 50, we angle it by 2, just the angle is what function happens here. Put it to 0 and we select on vertical. We want to move it to the back. So simple, click option, click on transform, reflect, click on transform, reflect, and we reflect it to the other parts. So that's simply a tutorial. So to recap again, we learned how to convert images to text, or converting a text to a shape, which we did previously. We also learned how to convert an image to a vector, which we did with this vector image shape. We also learned how to convert a stroke to a shape, which we also learned. We learned how to send images or elements back and front, and finally we learned how to reflect. So thank you guys and enjoy the rest of your day.